Many fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are very excited for Thunderbolts, which is set to release on July 26, 2024. While many are excited to finally view the team of villains in action, they are also not too happy about the choice of villains. Want to know why some fans feel that the selected villains for the movies are less than satisfactory and who we should have gotten instead? Then keep on watching. First, let's talk about Prowler. When Aaron Davis was first seen in Spider-Man Homecoming, many may not have known the significance of his character. When he appeared in Into the Spider-Verse, it was made apparent that there was more of his character than just a Donald Glover cameo. Aaron Davis is known to be the uncle of Miles Morales, but when he isn't, he's on the streets in his alter ego Prowler. Prowler would work best with the Thunderbolts because he isn't a deranged villain, he's a man who tried to be good and simply had bad luck, which forced him to try his hand in criminal activities. He's an anti-hero like the other members of the Thunderbolts. Next, let's talk about Hellcat. Fans of all things Marvel may recognize the name Hellcat. They're more likely to recognize her non-secret identity name. Hellcat, also known as Trish Walker, is a superhero in the comics. In the show Jessica Jones, we see Trish drawing the cape and ending up taking the life of a man. In the show, she's seen visibly feeling remorse for what she did. That feeling of remorse means she doesn't have villainous tendencies, but killing a man means she's not exactly a hero, which would make her a perfect match for the Thunderbolts. Her inclusion in the film would have worked out perfectly as well, considering that it was reported that Jessica Jones would officially enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, let's talk about Justin Hammer. We were first introduced to Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. Both in the comics and in Iron Man 2, Justin Hammer has an immense hatred for Tony Stark, with it being 10 times more evident in the former. Justin Hammer lets his hatred for Tony Stark take him to dangerous lengths, and he does some stuff that eventually gets him locked up in prison. While the things that Hammer did weren't something a hero would do, they weren't done with the goal of mass destruction in mind. All of Hammer's actions can be chalked up to him letting a one-sided feud get to the best of him and causing him to act erratically. Moving on, let's talk about Magneto. Magneto's one of the most known anti-heroes out there. In the X-Men films, Magneto's both seen fighting alongside the X-Men as well as against them. Magneto will always fight on the side of his people, which are mutants. Rather, he's fighting for the right or wrong side depending on which side poses a threat to mutants. While Magneto has done some things that rightfully gave the X-Men a reason to attack him, Magneto's not known to do things in order to promote or spread evil. Magneto being in the film could not be too far off, considering that the X-Men has been subtly hinting as being a part of the MCU. Next, let's talk about the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, whose real name is Jonathan Blaze, was first seen as a normal stunt motorcyclist until he ran into the Demon Lord Mephisto and sold away his soul, becoming possessed by the angel Zarathos and being forced to become the Ghost Rider. While many of the things that Ghost Rider does are nowhere near what a hero would do, his actions are never of illegal intent. In fact, the demon that possesses Jonathan Blaze gives the person chosen to be the Ghost Rider a lust towards only the guilty, which eventually turns into a mission to save and protect the lives of the innocent. It would also be a great chance to bring him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's time to talk about War Machine. Iron Man's right-hand man goes by the name of Colonel James Rhodes, but when he dons his suit, he becomes War Machine. That suit that Tony Stark gave Rhodes gives him the ability to become an incredible fighting machine. War Machine is shown to be a true anti-hero in Captain America Civil War, when despite most believing that Steve Rogers is in the right, he sided with Tony Stark. Civil War showed that War Machine was not afraid to go out of the box to fight for what he believes is right, which means that it would make perfect sense for him to fight along with the Thunderbolts. Now, let's discuss Swordsman. Swordsman was first adapted from the comics in the Hawkeye miniseries, and many fans thought that he did not get the justice he should have. Swordsman, or Jack Duquesne, is exactly what his name would have you assume, a swordsman. One that is only good at that. Throughout the Hawkeye series, Swordsman is seen being empathetic to other characters in the series many times, but that should not distract from the fact that he's a fighter that can take out multiple guards before they even have a chance to realize they're being attacked. Swordsman empathetic character traits would make him an excellent contender for the Thunderbolts, who are known to not fight only for evil. We're going to talk about Bullseye. Bullseye is one of the most mysterious villains around. The only time he'd relay any information is when he was thrown into a secure US prison. Even then, he teased that a great deal, if not all, of the information he gave them was simply made up. Bullseye was a freelance killer, meaning that he killed people, both good and bad. This was proven when he was hired to kill Kingpin, but ended up working with him on account of him offering a better deal. Bullseye is often very unpredictable, as he's not the most sane person in the universe. So he may be a difficult one to have working alongside a team. We're going to talk about Diamondback now. Many non-comic book readers got their first introduction to Diamondback in the series Luke Cage, the titular Luke Cage being his half-brother. Diamondback may have been the half-brother of Luke Cage, but the treatment he received from his father was much crueler in his eyes. This angered Diamondback so much that he became hellbent on destroying his brother and ended up attempting to kill his half-brother publicly. Diamondback's motives are not to spread evil, but to destroy his brother, who he feels rightly deserves to be destroyed. Which means that he could be seen with the Thunderbolts, and his weaponry would be a great plus for the team. Let's move on to Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary began her life as a villain when she was flung out of a window at the brothel she worked at. From the day forward, she had vowed to never again let a man cause her physical pain. Long after she developed the Typhoid persona she used as a self-defense mechanism, she went on to work for Kingpin, and despite her romantic relationships with Matthew Murdock, she often butted heads with his alter ego, Daredevil. Typhoid Mary is not afraid to cause physical pain or even death to a person. Her victims are mostly people that are being abusive to their partners, as her father was to her when she was younger. Let's now discuss Songbird. Songbird differs from the other villains on this list, as she's the only one who hasn't been brought to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is ridiculous since she should have. Melissa Gold took on the persona of Songbird after she learned of her abilities, which make her able to create sonic blasts, fly, and do many other things. In comics, Songbird was a prominent member of the Thunderbolts. She was one of the ones who decided she enjoyed working as a superhero. In the comics, Songbird's a big part of the reason that Zemmo's plot for world domination falls flat. Her and the other Thunderbolts turn against him and form their own team. Finally, let's talk about Anna Hellstrom. Sister of Damon Hellstrom, Anna Hellstrom is a half-demon, half-human hybrid. Anna Hellstrom began her life when she was young, after her father had kidnapped her and forced her to kill people of his choosing. Then escaping her father, Hellstrom and her friend Chris Yen ran Auction House, which served as a front for their real profession, which was killing bad people that deserved it. Like many of the others on this list, Anna Hellstrom is not afraid to kill people that she thinks deserves it, even in cruel ways. With that being said, she's not been known to murder people out of pure evil like many other villains have. There's a lot of good villains out there. Some of them were put in Thunderbolts, but many others were left out. We'll just have to wait to see how the villains who are in the series will turn out. Maybe it won't be too bad. What do you think? What villains should have been in the movie? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.